81% of coaching businesses fail in the first 3 years because they didn't make enough money. And one of the biggest reasons is because most coaches fail at sales. In this video, I'm going to break down the most common mistakes that coaches make and the fixes that you can do to start closing more coaching clients. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Chris Bear. I've helped coaches sell over $10 million. And today we're going to talk about how you can improve your sales. So jumping straight into it onto the iPad. And one thing I do want to mention at the end of the video, if you stick around, I'm going to share one little shift that allowed a coach to go ahead and double his close rate. So stick around if you're interested in understanding how that works. So there's a couple of things that we want to keep in mind. Part one that I want to bring to your attention is what I call the lead problem. Okay. And essentially what this means is that there's a lot of coaches who blame the leads. And absolutely, marketing is a very big part of it, and lead nurture is a big part of it. But in the same sense, you do not need a robust marketing system, one that has all these automated nurtures and this sequence and that, in order to start making sales, right? A lot of them think I need better quality leads or I need more leads. And so the truth behind it is that you don't need a ton of leads. And even if you did have a ton of leads, is your sales skill good enough to where you can actually close them and get them into the next level? So I can tell you that many of the people, and actually how I even got involved inside of the coaching space in the very beginning, was because there's a lot of these coaches that had tons of leads. And let's say we were doing anywhere from $20,000 to $100,000 a month inside of their business. And the thing is that they had a bunch of leads and they thought that they had tapped out, and we literally came in and closed for them and would add an extra 20, 30, 40, 50, $100,000 per month into their business by having a more robust sales system. And so myth number one is the lead problem. And that's what you need to get fixed inside of your head. It's not only the amount of leads, not only the quality of leads, but a lot of it comes down to the quality of your ability to sell is a really big part of it. Okay. Moving into part number two, you guys, this is going to be the 3 sales killers. These are the most common mistakes that many coaches make. Number one is going to be no clear process. Now, what do I mean by that? Many coaches get on a call, seek to only have a conversation, and then hopefully the person buys, and that's it. I can tell you, if you want to have consistent sales, you want to make sure that you can close at the highest level, then you need to make sure you have a very clear process. I've done plenty of videos. I'll make sure that one of them gets linked down below so you can go ahead and watch it later if you'd like. But in short, when it comes to the actual closing process, there's 5 steps. You have the intro as number 1. You have what we call fact finding as number 2. You have the presentation, number 3. Number 4, you have the test close. And then number 5, you have the actual close. Now, why do I share this with you? Because you want to have a very clear path and process that you're taking the person through. You don't want to come off like a robot to where you're not resonating with the person, to where you're only saying the things that you're supposed to say rather than truly listening to the person. Yes, I understand it needs to be a conversation, but if you don't have a clear process, it makes it very difficult for you to sell at all, number one, let alone the fact of the consistency, let alone understanding what worked well, what didn't work well. So this is one of the biggest, one of the biggest mistakes, number one, that people really come across when it comes to doing sales. The next one is a really common one, especially with coaches. You don't like sales. Another thing I hear is, I feel salesy. It feels wrong. Now this right here is biggest mistake number 2. A lot of coaches think that selling and taking someone's money away from them is a bad thing. They think that they're not doing them a service. They just don't like the feeling of it. They don't like the awkwardness. But what if I told you that this person is going to pay regardless to get this problem solved? And they're going to do it one of 2 ways. They're going to pay in pain and anguish because they have to keep dealing with it. They're going to pay in time because they try to figure it out themselves. Or they're going to go ahead and pay someone like you. And if you don't go ahead and close them, they're going to go find someone else. And there was a mentor who I was speaking with. This mentor has done $200+ million in sales, worked with some of the top people in this industry. And funnily enough, he's really big on using ChatGPT for getting feedback with themselves. And ChatGPT was giving him some feedback about this program he wanted to start. And ChatGPT confronted him on it and basically said, you need to hurry up and start this. Because if you don't start this, someone with less integrity is going to, and is going to take other people's money. So how do we go ahead and fix you not liking sales? The fix to it is simply seeing sales as service. And you can understand that if you've never done sales, it seems weird, it's sometimes difficult. But in the end, all that you're looking to do is you're looking to take a person from where they are now to their goal. And then there's this gap in between. That's obviously where your coaching is going to come in. But I can tell you, two-pronged. Number one, if you do not sell someone on this, they're not going to get the solution. They're not going to be able to get this gap that's going to get them to their goal. And the reason why I said two-pronged is because there's going to be some people, oh, what if I give it away for free? What if that? Let's be real. People pay attention when they pay. It's a simple thing. In the very beginning, when we started our pay-as-you-profit program, we gave it away for free. And at that point, the system had already generated millions and millions of dollars for coaches. It was proven time and time again. But even though it had all this background of success and everything, and even though people would seemingly be excited in the beginning, they didn't pay, so they didn't really take as much care of it. And so ultimately, you need to go ahead and get people to pay for this. It allows them to pay more attention. It allows them to be more serious in your program and taking the actions, doing all of the things necessary so they can achieve success. And on top of that, unless you're all in money and you have a bunch and you don't need to make it, then your business is going to cease to exist. Ultimately, if you want to continue helping people, you need to be comfortable with taking people's money. Another thing, I've talked about this at length in many different videos, when you're crafting your offer, the price is going to be here, but in the ideal scene, the value is going to be a multiple of that. And then the cost to deliver is going to be down here. Ultimately, all of this, someone is going to get the better shake of it. We end up collecting a bunch of money from people that we work with. And when I'm talking with my team, we all talk about who's getting the better end of the deal. They're getting the better end of the deal. They're making much more money than they are paying for us. Don't get me wrong. We get a good side of the deal too. We make money. We help people. But I can tell you, they're making a multiple of anything that they're going to pay us. And that's how it really should be done. And so when you frame the mindset of, look, I'm giving someone more value and they're just simply giving me a percentage, right, of the value in regards to the cost they're actually going to pay me, number one. Number two, sales is simply service, right? They are here right now. They want to get here as their goal. They've tried to fix this themselves already, but they haven't been able to. And so you are the person that has these missing puzzle pieces going to come in and fix it for them. So I want you to think about it. This person is going to go ahead and pay in one of these ways: pain and anguish, time and wasted effort, attention, money, or in actually paying you. And so as we're going through these things, guys, I want you to shift the mindset away from I'm taking this person's money to really understand the value. And I know sometimes it's difficult to see your own value, but if you were to rewind, for most people, the people that they are most qualified to coach, the person that they are most qualified to teach is the person that they used to be. And so I want you to think about yourself 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years ago, however many years ago it was, when you were maybe this exact person right here, this person that was at that now point and wanted to get to the goal and you didn't know how to do it. But you paid, instead of paying someone else, you might have paid through time, through money, through suffering, through hardship, through all of these things in order to get to that other side of the goal: a loving relationship, a fit body, a successful business. And so your goal is that, yes, the person can pay, and let's say it took you 5 years to go ahead and figure it out. But what if you were able to expedite that process and make it so that a person could do it in 1 year? The old you, would they be willing to pay your price of your program, of your coaching, to knock off 4 years? 4 years of the process to go from where they are now to where they want to be. And so when you frame it that way, it doesn't really seem like that much. And you also got to think about, oftentimes you're giving people skills that they can leverage for the rest of their lives, let alone the fact of the outcome that you're going to get them. And so I know I ended up kind of going a little bit in depth on this one, but this is such a big thing that so many coaches face. I don't like sales. It feels salesy. It feels wrong. I don't want to take people's money. I don't resonate with this. Guys, it is serving someone. And if you want to go ahead and serve someone at the highest level, you got to get them to pay and you got to sell them, number one. And then also, number two, if they don't buy from you and you just give it away for free, they don't value it. And if you want to really help the most amount of people, you're not going to be in business if you're not able to go ahead and be self-sufficient for yourself. You need to sell. And it's not a bad thing. You are giving them the better end of the deal. So that is number two. Most common mistake that I see so many coaches making. Sales is service, guys. And that's what I want you to take away from this video. Okay. Number three is fear of the ask. Now, what does this mean? You would be shocked how many coaches end up having this whole conversation with a prospect only to get to the end and not presenting the offer, or there are even some coaches that apologize for going for the ask. Once again, sales is service, guys. And so ultimately, at the end, we've already made that transition. I don't need to go more in depth on it, but at the end, you need to go for the close. You need to ask them. Yeah, I understand in the beginning if you're unaccustomed to it. It may seem awkward. It may seem weird, but you need to invite the person to take the next step. It doesn't need to be you have your hands on their throat. You need to buy. That's not closing, and that's not going for the close at the end. It's simply inviting the person to take the next step. It's simply giving them the understanding of, look, you're here right now. This is where you want to go. I have the golden keys that's going to open the door to get you to that goal. Would you like to go ahead and move forward together, and are you ready to get started? Boom. That's it, guys. And so ultimately, I want you guys to not get afraid of the ask. Remember that sales is simply service, and in order to get that person to actually close, you need to go for the ask. Okay? There are a couple more things that I'm going to go ahead and mention with you of how you can fix it. What are the things that you can do? For anybody who is understanding this, that is resonating with this and wants some help in crafting your sales process, putting the presentation together, and overall helping you in sales, click the first link below, book a call with me and my team, and we'll walk you through how you can do that for your business. Part 3 is we're going to talk about the shifts that need to be made. Shifts. Boom. Awesome. Okay? So if you only think that you need leads in order to make this successful, or that's the reason why you're failing, guys, oftentimes, if you're a really good salesperson, you don't even need a lot of leads, okay? So that's just number one shift that I want you guys to make that we've talked about previously, okay? On it, I want you guys to focus on having an actual process that you can follow step by step to make it really nice and easy. Next thing we've talked about, and then we're going to get into the new stuff, guys. Sales is simply service. I want you guys to focus on not trying to sell someone, but instead flip it to how can I help this person? And when you frame it that way, and that leads into the last one that I want to talk about here, detach from the outcome. What do I mean by that? Especially if you're a new coach, especially if you have bills to pay, especially if money's tight right now, it can sometimes be difficult to do this, but I want you to understand that you are not going to close everyone. You're not. And so understanding that, not allowing your emotions to get in the way, not allowing yourself to get upset when you don't close someone, not allowing yourself to put the person under too much pressure on yourself, making it feel like you need to sell, and just simply serve the person. Your goal is to understand, and for example, inside of our business, what we have is we have our free resources, we have what we call the intro products, and then we have our major products, our high ticket products, the one where we work with people the most. When I'm talking to someone, I understand not 100% of people are going to move into this major product. All that I'm trying to do is talk to them. They've expressed some interest in wanting some help in growing their coaching business and doing all of these things. For me, I'm trying to figure out which of these 3 buckets do I put them into, assuming that they actually want help. People that I'm speaking to that say they want help, I need to figure out which of these 3 is best to put them into. Truthfully, getting them into the major program is going to get them the greatest outcome in the shortest amount of time and the highest degree of probability. Also, we get paid the most. Inside of that, that's going to be what I would recommend that they do. Some people don't have the financial means to get into that, or they're not serious about it, or they don't want to dedicate as much time into that. Maybe it's not the best fit for them. Okay, got it. So then that gets crossed out, and then I come here. Okay, well, are you looking for only free, or are you looking for a little bit more hands-on? Oh, you're looking a little bit more hands-on? Got it. Okay, well, let's go on the intro, right? And that's just what I'm doing on these sales calls. Like, there's been plenty of calls that I get onto, and they don't become a close. I seek to give them value. I seek to give them guidance. And then from that, I can tell you there's been many people that's happened. And then they end up coming back because they want to do it themselves. They want the free version because they think that they're going to be able to handle everything. But in reality, they end up coming back and saying, hey, well, can I work with you at a higher level, the major program? Because I want your help. I've already tried. And they came to understanding that you're going to pay no matter what. You're either going to pay in a mentor, or you're going to pay in time, money, wasted effort, attention, all of that. And so inside of that, the very last shift that I'd like to share with you guys, specifically on this whole thing about how you can sell more, is detach yourself from the outcome. It's much easier said than done. But if you can just frame it of, you just need to be getting and speaking to people. Yes, analyze your sales skills, make sure you're following a process, make sure you're not letting people away easily when they should be joining a major program. Not everyone's going to buy our major program. Have other options that you can offer to people so you can give them some sort of service, sales or service at some level, and then you go from there. So that is the main meat of what we're teaching today. If you guys have liked this, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. One thing I told you, if you stuck around to the end, is closing the loop and what it looks like when it comes to doubling a coach's close rate. So one of the biggest shifts that have been done, and this kind of comes down to the process that I spoke to you guys about before. This coach was talking like 65, 75, 80% of the call. And that's ideally not what you want to go ahead and do. Yes, when you're going through the presentation, it's going to be very heavy you, but I can tell you a lot of amateur salespeople or just people that are new to sales, they think that sales is just saying the right things, talking about your product because that's what people want. But really, sales is a really big part of sales is listening. Understand the person's needs and wants, where they are now, where they want to be, and what's holding them back. It's understanding those things and then just simply explaining to them and presenting to them how these problems that they've outlined to you, you have the solution for. And so the one thing to make it crystal clear for you guys that allowed a coach to literally double his close rate, stop talking most of the call. Yes, there'll be certain parts where you're going to want to go ahead and go through and you talk. But in short, a lot of the call, especially the beginning part, should be you asking questions, listening to the person, understanding the person, and then simply presenting a solution. And when you do that, sales becomes a lot easier, becomes a lot more enjoyable, and you start closing more. With that said, everyone, that is today's video about why most people end up failing at sales, most coaches fail at sales, and what you can do in order to avoid the most common mistakes and the best practices for how you can do it. If you are looking for more clarity on some of these things that we went ahead and discussed, one of the biggest things in specific that I have found that leads to either the success or the failure of a coach is having that clear step-by-step process that I outlined to you before. So if you're interested in understanding what is the step-by-step process after selling millions and millions of dollars and helping coaches sell millions as well, and you'd like to implement that in your business, go ahead and click right here for the video that I put the entire sales process documented together so that you can go ahead and duplicate it for your business. Go ahead and click that and watch that now.